All right. So, Terrie, Mr. Shockley, it's good to see you both again.
And it's good seeing you.
Emily.
Thanks for having us again.
Oh, absolutely. No, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
So before you go on, I need to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about the both of us in these few sessions that you've had with us? Is there any hope or?
Oh, absolutely. There's always, you're both sitting here, right? Both sitting here, right? And you both want to work on this, right? That's why you're here?
Yes, I don't know why you ask her what she thinks. She got a job to do. It's not about what she thinks. We came here because she does what she does and we need her help.
Well, for me, I always like to know where people are at. You know, just because, you know, she got a job to do, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have an opinion and how she sees us, and if, in fact, she even wants to continue to deal with us at this point.
Oh, no, I do. I see hope, Mr. Shockley.
What hope do you see, man? Because, you know, we've been at this for a little while.
This is true.
And I need to have a payoff in this.
It sounds like you want to see some results. And I'm sensing there's still some tension here between you and your daughter. Is that correct?
It's something how he used the word payoff, like this is a game. You use payoff like, but yet you still being secretive with your story. You won't even give me the backdrop of your history. And you talking about a payoff? What kind of payoff do you expect when you aren't able to put your whole self in it? You don't even really want to put skin in the game yourself, but you want me to empty myself out to you, and you want me to go back to being friends when we were never hardly father and daughter.
And so that's why we have to be friends first, because that father and daughter relationship is at a different dimension now.
I agree.
And so payoff for me is just simply seeing results, positive results that I feel that there's an understanding that we're developing through this process. And right now, I still see us as adversaries rather than father and daughter that's developing a friendship.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of trust between the two of you right now.
But I always like to say that I trust until you show me that you can't be trusted. And so when she was coming to the prison and we would talk, I was building up a certain trust in our relationship. And then when I come home and I felt like that I've been hitting the head with a baseball bat, and so I'm actually delusional about where our relationship stands at this point.
That is the operative word, delusional.
He uses that word a lot.
Because he is. What he doesn't understand, when he was in prison, I came to him in prison 18 to what, 30? So you're talking about late teenager, up to a young adult, where the only thing that I want to do is to talk to my dad, spend a little bit of time with my dad, being able to laugh a little bit. I had enough on my mind, even as a teenager, to even think that I don't even have my dad around to do anything with me. Nor was he around for me to even help learn how to learn men. You know, he wasn't around for any of those things. He wasn't around to buy, shoes for my daughter. He didn't buy a teddy bear for his grandchildren. None of those things.
And I got
so how is it delusional?
I got that. And so, and I appreciate you coming, and I enjoyed those conversations. And it really helped me through the process while I was in prison. The delusion came in is I'm thinking that our relationship was developing in one way, and you had, for lack of a better word, this hidden agenda that you wanted to lambast me with.
But Dad, what you don't understand, you utilizing all these words that comes from a jailhouse mentality. What do you? How am I, your child, gonna bamboozle you when we were in agreement? You talk about a hidden agenda. Where was the agreement? Where was it in a hidden agenda? I want to see my dad. Where's the hidden agenda? I only wanted a little bit of love. Where was the hidden agenda? But yet you can't tell me nothing. Where's the hidden agenda?
Okay, okay. So here's the deal. When did you start feeling this way about what you wanted to know about me?
Dad, understand this. Why wouldn't you as a man come to that conclusion? Somewhere down the line, my immature child is going to grow up and want to know the story. Why wouldn't you not consider that? Wouldn't you want to know your father's history? Wouldn't you want to know your grandpa, your grandma? Don't you know more about your father and mother? We don't know anything about them. So why would I not, as your child, want to learn about my dad and my grandparents and what put you in jail and why you kept going to jail?
I didn't have any problem sharing with you about your grandparents, about your family history. It was simply that you never asked. You always came down with a bubbly personality, smile on your face, and so I just simply thought you weren't interested and that you were all right the way things were. I never knew that you weren't all right with what was going on with
Dad,
us.
help me to understand it. Why would you not, what adult would not think that their child is not all right or all right with them being in jail?
There you go,
What
judging me.
parent will think?
There you go, judging me.
It's not a judgment. Judgment is when.
Because of, okay, in prison, you're absolutely right. You know, we think about enjoying company. We're not looking for drama, but if drama comes, you know, I was willing to open up about it, but you never presented that to me.
So as the father, as the adult, why didn't you ask?
Well,
why didn't you ask me? Because you didn't think enough about my feelings to say, Terry, since I've been gone, tell me how you feel.
Well, as an adult, why didn't you share it with me?
You know what, Dad? You always you're not accountable for anything. You're not accountable to your own the poor decisions that you have made. You don't want to be accountable to telling us your story. You just don't want to be accountable. You want to project it onto everyone else. And you stated it. You are delusional. You spent so much time in prison that your mind has closed up and your heart has closed up to receiving any kind of love that I wanted to give you and that I offered to give you on my level. At my age, only thing I wanted to do was spend time with you. And I was awaiting for you to come home. And to come home as a father, not as a friend.
I'm curious. Mr. Shockley, you mentioned that Terrie had an agenda. And it sounds like the way that feels to you is that she is trying to manipulate you in some way. Can you talk more about that?
Yes, ma'am. Because here's, all of a sudden she shares with me her newfound faith. She said it's not newfound.
Okay.
But to me, it was newfound, and it seemed as though that she was apparently getting counsel from some source, because when she finally sprung how she really felt on me, it seemed as though that it came from a religious point of view rather than a point of view that we could connect with. For me, I was very disappointed with the church. Perhaps still am disappointed with the church because they made a lot of promises to me.
Okay.
That they would be there for me, and they weren't.
Okay, wait a minute. Can I address that, Emily, please?
You can, but let me just tell you first what I'm seeing or what I'm picking up, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So it sounds like Terrie was sharing her faith with you during these visits, and you were getting a sense of judgment because she was in alignment with the church and the church had disappointed you. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's pretty.
Okay.
So.
All right. Let's hear what Terrie thinks about that. Go ahead, Terrie.
You know, he trips me out. He talks about this newfound faith. We always have faith.
Okay.
It's just the fact that he's been gone, 30 years? We always went to church.
Mm-hmm.
When we were little, Mom used to take us to church. Dad went to church at one time. So for him to talk about this newfound faith, no, it's not a newfound faith. What it's called is a mature faith. Meaning that the things that I don't need to hold on and hold on to hurt feelings. This is why we have these conversations to say, I need to get what's off. I need to get healed in certain areas. And it comes by at least having a conversation. That's where healing comes from. Forgiveness, that's where healing comes from. But you aren't even able to even forgive. You think that I, as a child, came to the prison and had a hidden agenda to make you think one way about me, when that's the enemy talking to you. That is nothing but the devil talking to you. I'm sorry to say it.
Okay.
That is the enemy talking to you.
Okay, you done broke.
Go ahead,
the
Mr.
devil
Shockley.
in the process.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let me,
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, I'm not going to be in competition with you trying to prove a point. What I want to do is come to a resolution on how we can get along and what the process is for us to go through that.
Okay, and it sounds like right now, maybe one of the obstacles that we need to work on is Terrie's faith and how that feels to you when she's talking about it.
It feels icky, and so I'm trying to separate the ickiness of what I'm feeling about the church right now and her being connected.
Right, because Terrie is your daughter, but she's not the people in church that hurt you, but she's connected, so it's hard for you to trust.
Yeah, because Lord knows, and I use the word Lord knows, what they have assimilated into her about me and how she needs to respond to me and deal with me.
Okay, pause. Terrie, what did you hear him say is his fear?
What I didn't even hear fear. I hear delusion.
All right, well, let's try again. Mr. Shockley, could you repeat what you just said so that she can listen this time with different ears? If you remember.
Because of the disappointment that I had in dealing with the church, it's not because I was delusional, it's because that I couldn't trust the church, what I shared with them and what they promised me that they would do to support me.
Can you tell me, what did they promise, Dad?
They promised that they would be there to help me reconnect with you, to be able to give me an understanding of why I did the things that I did. And they dropped the ball on that. I had to find out that through the secular means and not through the spiritual means. And then they wanted to get real religious on me about that process, and it just simply turned me off. And so when I hear you talk, that caused that disconnect to take place with me, because I see you as a representative of what they were trying to force on me.
Let me ask you this, Dad. You stated a long time ago that you believed in Jesus Christ. And you don't have to believe in Jesus Christ, but you stated that you had a higher faith, but we're talking about Jesus Christ. We started off young, going to church. We started off young, reading the Bible. We started off young. You and mom always talked about love. That's the foundation. So when you talk about the church, understand while you were in prison, Dad.
You know.
Well, let me finish.
Let her finish, Mr. Shockley.
Let me finish, because you get ready to dog walk the church because of certain people. Understand, we are the church individually. We go into a church building. You have the same authority to read the Word of God, to get an understanding, and to understand that some people will fail you.
See, there you go again.
Terry, I don't think he's hearing you right now.
There you go again. See, you're taking that baseball bat and cracking my head. What do you know about me? About my beliefs? When I was there, that was my beginning. But you don't know where I'm at now. I'm trying to articulate to you that I've progressed from that because of the disappointment. So I have to do a whole new reconnection to where my faith is at, because it might not be in Jesus. It might be in Mohammed. It might be in Buddha. You're trying to lock me in to this particular faith, and that might not be where I'm at this point.
We're not arguing over the faith itself.
What
I wanted to get to is relationship. We're not talking about a religion. You're talking about a religion. You worried about what people did do and didn't do, when you didn't even hold up your bargain as to the things that you should have done as a father. Again, putting it off on everybody else. You got into jail. Now you want other people to help you figure out why you got into jail?
I freely admitted that I was wrong. But you keep on trying to hold me to this particular standard rather than trying to understand where I'm at and trying to achieve a relationship with you. And that's the part that's difficult for me. You keep on trying to have this neat little box that we fit in and to operate from that perspective rather than fully engulfed into the dynamics of who we are as people, as a person.
Okay, this is good. I'm gonna go back to that question I posed earlier. But this time, Mr. Shockley, I want you, if you can, to explain to Terry, what is your fear? Okay, what are you afraid of because she's connected to the church?
I'm afraid that I'll be disappointed the same way I was disappointed when I began to open up to the people that came to the prison to visit me.
And how did they disappoint you?
They disappointed me in that they wanted to come from a religious point of view, rather than just empathizing and sympathizing me with my pain and my hurt. I wasn't prepared to look at things in a faith way. I was prepared to have somebody to just, comfort me, to just be there for me. And that wasn't the case. They were judging me, and I didn't like that. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling like that now with her.
Okay.
And so that's kind of a turn off to me.
Sure.
And I don't want to experience that again. And it just keep on acting like I'm going through that experience again.
Terry, what are you hearing your dad say that he needs from other people? Not necessarily from you, but from other people.
From my point?
What did you just hear him say?
What I hear is that my dad wants people to go on this woe is me ride with him.
Okay. Is she getting the message, Mr. Shockley?
No.
Okay. All right.
He utilized the word empathetic, and he wants people to be empathetic and sympathetic to him. But understand this, Emily. He didn't just do this once. He did it twice. And all the counsel that people were trying to give him the first time, why is it that you think the church is going to keep breaking their back to help
I'm not asking them to. that's not what I asked of them. They came to me. I didn't go to them. And when they got a load of this, they wasn't prepared to deal with this.
And sometimes they aren't, Dad.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. And through that unpreparedness, I became disillusioned with the church.
Here's what I'm hearing. Mr. Shockley, you said what you wanted was for someone to hear your hurt and your pain. Is that a part of your story?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Terrie, you want him to tell you his story, but are you prepared to hear the hurt and pain?
Yes, I've always been prepared to hear that because that's what I questioned, was to tell me about your pain and what caused you to be who you are. What is the backdrop of your foundation? I want to hear that, not from a judgmental perspective, but from a loving and kind and an empathetic and sympathetic perspective.
Okay.
Okay, now that makes sense to me. So I'm looking forward to the next process and see
Okay.
if you're ready to really hear that part of the story.
Okay.
Now you said it, so you're gonna get what you want.
Okay. All right, Mr. Shockley, do you feel like we're getting some results today?
Well, with that statement,
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna see.
All right, nice job,
yeah,
Terrie.
Yeah,
Nice
I'm
job.
gonna see.
Good work, both of you.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Good
you
work.
so much, Emily.
Absolutely.
Dad, thank you again.
Yep, we'll meet next time and we'll take it from there. How's that sound?
We'll see. I love you, baby. Love you.
I love you too with the love of Jesus.
Why can't it just be your love?
It is my love.
You're good at being stubborn, Doc.